Good afternoon, traders. Joseph here from Eightcap. Welcome to this week's weekly wrap. So we'll start with some of the news that we saw this week. So Canadian CPI came out relatively as expected and below expectations. So the trimmed CPI came in below what was expected, and so did the common CPI. But we did see the median and the CPI month on month come in as expected. So we have some comments from the RBA this week as well. The RBA policy meeting minutes didn't do too much, but we have seen a pretty solid week for the Aussie. You can just see that here. Just looking at the weekly, it has been a very solid, it's been another good week against the dollar and also against the Japanese yen. So we can see a bit of a attempted breakout here now. So after beating those last week's opening price, we can see a nice move back up again, very close to testing previous highs we saw last week, which also lines up with that high that we can see here, and it goes back to the 11th of the 9th 22. So yeah, some pretty good little signs there at the moment. And also for other risk currencies this week, so we've seen pretty flat session for the euro. We had a couple of moves down, a little bit of buying the last 2 days. The pound a little bit better. We had obviously that one move down, but we've had still a bit of a stalemate, but prices are moving a little bit higher. There's still plenty of resistance really above that 1.2540 area, and the dollar CAD, after some pretty volatile moves on oil this week, and with the dollar being a little bit up and down as well, we can see really just a bit of a stalemate here at around this level at 36.89. We've had a move all the way up to test 37.63 and a move down to test 36.52. That was on that CPI data, and then that was yesterday a little bit of movement with the dollar and oil. So we can see the dollar index at this stage. We had a couple of moves up, a pretty flat week. We had the FOMC meeting minutes. As you can see, it has done a little bit. There has been a little bit of demand being driven back into the market, but it hasn't been able to consolidate itself, and we've seen a lot of whipsaws so far this week. So, and we can just see that area here. So if we look here, it's pretty much flat now for the dollar. We've had a pretty good move down. It's a bit of a test up, but at the moment it's a bit of a doji bar. So not too much going on really in terms of direction, but there has been plenty of movement if you have been trading it on the short term. Now the Kiwi has also followed the Aussie dollar higher this week, so we can see a pretty similar story as we can see on the Aussie and the US. And commodity currencies continue to remain, pretty much in form this week. And but we are seeing plenty of supply and ready sellers above 60, 54, 55. And the ASX, we're going to do a little bit of a report on it later on. We can see a nice pattern forming here, so we can see this nice move down. We can see this initial leg up, and we can see a nice pullback and plenty of support around that 70.37, and we can see a nice little move starting to break the downtrend here with the moving average pointing up after a key trend break. So you can just see that key trend here, and we can see that. Yeah, so we are looking at this potentially from a continuation, and we're just going to track it for another couple of hours, and then we'll most likely put something out just about this bar here, but really want to see that bar hold firm, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, it's a decent little pattern right now, but there is a real testing point, and that is up here at this level from 70.96 up to 71.10 really, and that's really a bit of a testing area. We haven't seen a break of that area for a while. So moving along though, we have seen US indexes have pretty decent time this week, and we can see the US 30 year hitting new monthly and yearly, monthly highs. So good signs there. And it was a similar story across the NDX 100. We saw a new move into new yearly highs, and same with the SPX 500. New weekly highs so far this week. We just need to see if we can get another test, but I don't know if we'll see that today with Thanksgiving in the US. Liquidity is definitely lower as they're observing that bank holiday and holiday. That will be the next test really for the SPX 500 to get back up and test that 45.97 area. And moving along, so with the USD being a bit flimsy, some headway in the Middle East as well with tensions. So we have seen gold move lower, but moving moving up, so really not too much on gold this week either. That's your key resistance level there. It's at 2006.28. Really anywhere above that area up to 2009 is seeing plenty of ready sellers and supply, and we've seen a little bit more after a couple of tests here. And oil has had a bit of movement this week. There's been a little bit. Obviously, there's been talk of a ceasefire in the Middle East. Also, there's inventories came out this week as well, and we've seen plenty of movement. Resistance for oil at the moment looks pretty good at 77.68. But really, anytime we've seen a move below 75.68, we've seen plenty of ready buyers come back into the market. So we can see that here, pretty extreme on this case here. So we're talking about a very strong pullback there. It's over 4%, and today we've seen another pullback as well. So sellers are trying, but they keep getting knocked about. So if price can close above this level here at 75.70, I think that's a bit of a win for the buyers, and then we'll see if they can draw enough momentum to try and get a new move back up to test this resistance here. But at the moment, we're just seeing it sort of trending water and sort of just trading blows between buyers and sellers. So we'll need to see first if they can hold at that support level here, keep reinforcing that area, and then see if we can get a move back up to test there. If we see a close below there, really want to see a move down to test the 72.99, really to signify that sellers are really flat out in control. Close below this level here would be the first step in doing so, then a move back down and try and test and break this area. But for now, it looks like there's so much demand down there. Whether that continues or not, we'll have to wait and see. And we'll just see if buyers can continue to hold firm, if they can get back up and break that resistance that we just discussed here. Next step after that will be this level here at 78.82. So lastly, crypto. Before we touch on crypto, the US 2000 had an interesting couple nice little sessions this week. It is definitely a lot more choppy than the other indexes, so you can see there's a lot more direction on the NDX 100 and the US 30. So what we can see here is a bit of a price pattern at the moment as it consolidates, and it's a bit of a pendant slash diagonal. So keep an eye on this one. There's a bit of volume about here, so we'll just see if we can get a good influence if it does break out again to the upside, maintaining the current trend. So we can see our initial leg higher, and we had a break of that resistance, which is a good sign here, and then we had a bit of an overshoot and test, which was rejected. And now we'll see as price consolidates if we can see another move higher, just to show that this is a trend and it's continuing on. So we really do like the look for that, because if you do look here, we've seen a good break now of the daily trend, so that longer term trend lines that have been beaten now by buyers. So we'll see if we can get a bit of a backup breakthrough again. We'll try and see if we can see some support come back into the market, really down around this area at 1772. So gold this week and the metals, with the dollar being a bit up and down, so we have touched on gold, that's the key resistance. So silver had we'll just update that. So silver, very similar to the US 2000 at the moment. We're seeing a breakout here above the highs. We do a bit of a consolidation pattern here. Again, similar story. There's a bit of volume here. We can see some volume there. We want to see if buyers can take that next level to push up to maintain this current trend structure, which is an uptrend. Any move below this area here would be a worry for buy momentum, and we would like to see price continue to hold above that 23 area really, and then see if we can get that continuation to show that this uptrend here is going to continue to move forward. Now, crypto this week, it's been a little bit hot and cold for crypto. I think after the last couple of solid weeks, prices are trying to work themselves out at the moment. So we'll start with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's had a good week this week, and it continues just to push. We haven't seen any new monthly highs yet. It still holds firm at 38. Ethereum as well looks pretty good on the weekly at the moment. This is a resistance it's got to beat, and that's at 2096. If we can see a break of that area, could be a sign that this higher, this uptrend here is trying to continue, and we can see it's an uptrend with that higher low here, and the breakout there. So we'll continue to look. The angle isn't the greatest at the moment, but it's sort of grinding, but we'll see if we can get a new higher high just to cement that. BNB had a very big tick up this week, up to 271, but then it was quickly faded, and the week has turned negative. And some of the other major coins that have been moving recently, AVA Bit of a pullback at this stage this week. Solana, similar story. We've seen a bit of a pullback. There's a little bit indecision at the moment in the last 2 weeks. I think the market's really trying to work out this newfound value and what it all means. So some of the other coins as well. Ripple's had a bit of a weaker run this week as well. It's trading around that 61, 62 cent point. Hasn't been able to get back up to retest anything around has seen in weeks prior, but we're hoping to see some support hold here at 0.59. 67. And just a couple other coins. Doge looks okay. Got to break out of this channel. Just need to see it take that next step, break back above this resistance with a close, just to signify that this is pushing higher. And obviously there's a lot of other coins to cover, but we will now just run over some of the news that's coming out next week. So we did have services data come out this week. So it's only really the French manufacturing PMI that missed expectations. The German data all was above expectations, and so was the UK data. And due to the bank holiday, the US data will come out on Saturday morning. Now, just looking over to next week, some of the key ones that are coming out. We've got more. The governor of the RBA is speaking again on Tuesday at 2:18 in the afternoon, local time, Australian Eastern Daylight Saving Time. And on Wednesday, we have Australian CPI, which could be a good one in terms of where the RBA do go next. Cash rate in New Zealand, so if you trade the Kiwi, take a look at that one. And then we have German prelim CPI, Spanish flash CPI on Wednesday. And just to round out the week, Governor Bailey speaking in the UK. Prelim GDP coming out in the US on Thursday as well. And then Chinese manufacturing PMI data on Thursday. And just to end the week with Canadian GDP, OPEC meetings, they got moved. Now that did cause a little bit of unrest, I think. So they've been moved to Thursday the 30th. They'll be running all day that day. And it'll be interesting to see how they feel and where they see price at the moment with crude. So we're going to hear more supply cuts to try and drive price higher. So keep an eye on that one on Thursday and what comments come out from OPEC. And definitely around supply and potential future supply cuts. Then we have unemployment claims on early Friday morning, and the PCE price index as well, which is US inflationary. And then to round out the week, we have Canadian employment data on Saturday, ISM manufacturing PMI data from the States, and 3 a.m. so very early Saturday morning our time, we have Fed Chair Powell speaking as well. So that's it for today's wrap. Wish you all the best for your weekend. Thank you very much for your time and watching today's update. And we'll have a update on a trade idea / setup market information a little bit later. Yeah, again, thank you. All the best for the weekend. All the best for your trading. And just remember that US flash PMI data is coming out tomorrow morning, Australian Eastern Daylight Saving Time. So thanks again, and bye for now.